Have you ever noticed that as you become more yourself, some relationships become easier and some become harder? Not because you've done anything wrong, not because you've become selfish, but because you've changed. And when we change, the relationships around us have to change too. Sometimes they grow with us, sometimes they don't. And that can be one of the most painful and confusing parts of personal growth. Today, we're talking about what happens when healing changes people around you. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Soul Talk podcast. My name is Mary Beth Rim, and I am a mental health therapist. I'm a coach, a runner, and this is the podcast where we explore mindfulness, movement, meditation, and what it means to keep moving forward in life. And if these conversations support you, I would love for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel and join me also on Substack, where I share reflections, insights, and resources to help you live with greater intention and connection. And if you're feeling overwhelmed, stretched thin, or disconnected from yourself, my 7-day nervous system reset was created specifically to help you slow down, reconnect, and create a greater sense of safety within yourself. And you can find that in the description of my YouTube channel. Now, let's settle in to this conversation today, because this conversation touches a place almost all of us know, the place where growth collides with relationship. Here's the part nobody ever talks about. When people start a healing journey, they often imagine what they'll gain. Perhaps it's more confidence, more peace, more self trust, more clarity. What they don't always anticipate is what they might lose. And that sounds scary, but it's true, because growth changes us. It changes what we tolerate. It changes what we need. It changes what we believe. It changes the roles we've played for years. And sometimes the people around us aren't expecting that. I mean, I know this personally. I've spent decades helping people navigate change. But even with all of my training, all of my experience, all of my education, I still found myself surprised by how growth can reshape relationships. Because growth isn't just an internal experience, it's relational. When one person changes, the entire system feels it. And that's scary. I think every relationship contains invisible contracts, unspoken agreements. You be this person, I'll be that person. You stay predictable, I'll stay comfortable. Most of us don't even realize we're participating in them. Maybe you've always been the helper, the fixer, the peacemaker, the strong one, the one who says yes, the one who doesn't make waves, the one who carries everyone else's emotions. And then one day, something shifts. You start setting boundaries. You start listening to yourself. You start saying no. You stop apologizing for existing. You stop rescuing people from their own lives. And suddenly people respond differently, not because you're wrong, but because the contract changed. The role they expected you to play is no longer available. That's difficult for everyone involved. So, why growth can feel lonely? And there's also a grief that comes with it as well. One of the hardest truths I've learned is that growth can sometimes feel incredibly lonely. Not because you're alone, but because you're becoming unfamiliar to others and sometimes to yourself because you second guess yourself. Should I go back to being that? Because you're standing between who you used to be and who you're becoming. And that in between is very uncomfortable. And neither version feels completely settled. And I think many people quit growing because of this stage, because they go back to what they know. And not because growth is impossible, but because loneliness is uncomfortable. It's easier to go back to the role everyone understands. It's easier to shrink. It's easier to perform. It's easier to become who people expect. But eventually, that creates another kind of loneliness. The loneliness of abandoning yourself. And that loneliness is far heavier. You see, one thing I've noticed as I've gotten older is how much less interested I am in performing. For years, I thought being helpful meant always being available to everyone but myself. I thought being caring meant carrying things that weren't mine. I thought being strong meant holding everything together. But age has a way of teaching us what actually matters. I've learned that healthy relationships don't require self abandonment. I've learned that being loved for who you pretend to be isn't actually love. And I've learned that peace often arrives when we stop managing everyone else's reactions. Because it's their reactions, not ours. I mean, that doesn't mean I always get it right. I don't. But it means I'm becoming more willing to show up honestly. And honesty changes relationships every single time. So here's the thing is that you need to releasing the need to be understood. This might be the hardest lesson of all. Not everyone will understand your growth. Some people only know the version of you that benefited them, and that's what they want. Some people only know the version of you that stayed small. They don't want you to grow. Some people only know the version of you that never asked for anything. And when you change, they may not know what to do with it. For a long time, I thought my job was to explain myself to others, to convince people, to help them understand who I am. Now I think differently. I think our job is to be honest, not persuasive, You don't need everyone to agree with your growth. You only need to remain aligned with it. And here's the fun part is relationships that grow with you. And that's the beautiful part of it. Not every relationship falls apart. Many become stronger. Many become healthier, more honest, more connected, because authentic relationships can tolerate change. They don't require performance. They don't require perfection. They allow both people to evolve. Those relationships become incredibly precious. They're built on truth instead of roles, connection instead of obligation, choice instead of expectation. And those are the relationships worth nurturing. So the goal of healing isn't to lose people. The goal is to stop losing yourself. Let's talk about that again. Your goal is not to lose people. The goal is to stop losing yourself. Sometimes relationships deepen. Sometimes they shift. And sometimes they end. And sometimes they surprise you. But every relationship teaches you something about who you're becoming. And that's what living forward is really about. Not becoming someone new, but becoming more fully yourself. And I always ask the question, who are you? That's something you need to find out again and again, one honest step at a time. And as we finish today, I want you to consider one question. Where in your life are you still shrinking to keep a relationship comfortable? Just sit with that for just a second. No judgment, just curiosity. Because awareness is where change begins. So I want to thank you so much for spending this time with me today. I really hoped that this was a powerful episode for you. And if this episode resonated with you, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and join me on Substack, where our conversations continue throughout the week. And if you're looking for a gentle place to begin reconnecting with yourself, my 7-day nervous system reset is available and designed to help you create more calm, safety, and steadiness from the inside out. Take care of yourself. Keep listening inward. Keep trusting your pace. And keep living forward. Until next time, I'm Mary Beth Rim.